Hi, everybody. I hope everything is reasonable tonight for everyone. We have a couple of questions from Catherine Stewart and Natalie Taylor, and thank you. So I'll read the question first, and then try to go back in sections. This one's from Catherine Stewart. And she says, I notice that wherever we go, whatever we do, we reference and relate everything to the me, to the personality self. The me, then, is a pervasive focus. I might add that it's very physically focused as well, even though we had the emotional and mental idea, but they're all working together. Even despite an occasional conscious noticing of it, this me story draws us back into itself constantly. It's like a gravitational pull. Yes, it is. However, I think many of us have also had experiences of transcending this me, even if momentarily. Not sure what she means about that, but I'm thinking that she means something related to kind of a spiritual experience of some kind. You keep saying that our systems aren't yet prepared for the influx of higher states. And I do say that for sure. Why does preparing the energetic system matter when consciousness isn't limited? This is an interesting dilemma. Consciousness is not limited. It's true. But we are. Our interesting dilemma about this, and I wrote a lot of notes, so I'll go over them possibly to see whether I miss anything. When we're engaging as an individual, we have kind of a bubble, a personality bubble that we're involved with. That personality bubble is a kind of potpourri of things that we believe we're like and how we function and why we function that way, and the importance of us when we are functioning that way becomes very clearly important to us. It's, in a kind of a way, it's like saying, I don't like feeling vulnerable, so this will help me not to feel vulnerable. I will act this way and that way based on what I believe might be an important way to act and behave, because that way, first of all, is reminiscent of my parental background. It's a real important thing to remember here. And the kind of canopy of engaging in a certain way, because that way it seems to be a valued way of engaging, because we're used to it. When we're in that particular way of engaging, we don't see we're engaging that way. We can look back and see our parental background and how that works, because we remember our parents, and you can even blame your parents or whatever, but you don't see how you're acting in a similar way. You don't do that because it would give the bubble that you've created and relationship that you have with the behaviors you have a little bit of a difficult time. The difficulty here is that we're not capable of being aware to the degree that a higher state could make us aware. It would be too fast and too harsh for us to suddenly find out how we are and then having to deal with the defenses that we need to survive in our day-to-day. Because they would come at us and they would be very, let's say, angry or frustrated that one could even imagine that they would be like that, whatever that is. And that would be, first of all, similar to a parental background, but also part of a construct that you set up by the adventures that you have been involved with, the experiences that you believe that you've had that underline a specific way of engaging. And that specific way of engaging is a constructed me, a form. It's not that the higher state has a problem. It's we have the problem. And this is the dilemma. We don't see we have a problem with this because we're so used to acting in the way that we actually repeatedly do. And we value that because we've been able to handle living life in a certain way that enables you, the individual, to feel content with yourself. This is a dilemma, and this is where it gets so difficult. And it's interesting because I was talking about that today with another individual, where a story that I've talked to you about before, related, trying to help people to understand, all of us to understand, that we are personalities, and the construction of that particular personality we defend. This is a story of 3 gurus in India. Honest, real life story. A friend of mine, certainly a friend of mine at the time, invited me and a few other folks to go with them. He was a guru as well. And to listen to these 3 gurus explaining to their students, and there were quite a number of students, how a certain question was to be considered. So the first guru got up, and that's what we did. We went there. First guru got up and explained things in the way that guru thought things should be explained. And then the second guru got up and said, no, this is not the way it would be, and explained his version, also putting down the first version and the guru, of course. Well, the 2 of them got into a bit of fisticuffs. Total human being kind of thing. And also putting other people down is a human being kind of thing too. Don't ever say you didn't do that in life. Because of a version that you believe has to be more true than somebody else's version. Because that happens in humanity. Then the third person got up, and he split up these 2 people who were physically engaging with each other and emotionally engaging with each other, and then told a different story about how things should be, and then he became the big hero. Well, unfortunately, he wasn't really a hero. He was an opportunist, and he was an engager with the same kind of behavior as the other 2 had. And then we of course, we left, and this guru said, this is how we all behave. And of course he was right. We all behave this way. We don't like to know we behave that way, but we do. See, being a human being, and one added feature, all three of these gurus had energy moving in them all the way up to the top of the head. But they were not linked into a higher state where the higher state was in charge of them. Personality was still in charge of them. And that's the piece that we all relate to in the me that we're talking about, whatever me there is. We don't like that idea of having anything else in charge of us, unless it makes us appear more superior. This is a dilemma of inner growth and material growth. Both of them. Think about that, please. You will have opinions about almost anything, no matter what you come up with, until you realize that the opinion that you have is a piece of what you know, what you think you know, kind of a boundary, a borderline. The personality behavior, the me focus, the self-importance, needs to have you consider yourself more valuable, because it's the nature of how you've been acting all your life. It's the way it is. This is what we do. And we don't see it, so we're not conscious of this presentation process that we have in relationship not only to ourselves, but to others. We wish to be accepted by others as a valuable person. So we make that up. But it's a reality. So it's really not a make-up. It's based on our vulnerability. As we have grown from being very, very young and told what to do all the time, and often didn't do it, to getting older and trying to make sense of things and attempting to do the best we can with learning how to function here on these planes. Well, there's all kinds of rules, all kinds of behaviors on these planes. Even in the spiritual quarter, so to speak. And in beginning to understand that, we begin to be curious about all kinds of things. But it's still difficult for us to allow ourselves to be considered a young person and not get everything right. Part of our dilemma, and it's a sociological thing. It's a cultural thing. If we are better educated than somebody else, then in theory we're supposed to be better than somebody else. No, it doesn't always work that way. You see, our engagement with life internally is kind of boxed in. We hold a flavor that's dear to ourselves, within ourselves, and maintain that flavor the best we can, knowing full well, and maybe not knowing full well, that we're not maintaining that flavor at all. We're engaging with a flavor of the moment, of each and every context that exists. So you have an experience in a spiritual way, so to speak. That is to show you that something is there other than you. Making a me out of that. Now here's another way to look at that. Since you had 1 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, depending on the competitive mode you happen to be in, whatever it is, it's fine. But you don't see that you're doing that. And here it is. You have this competitive mode. You had this happen, therefore, now you're superior. It's not like that. It's almost, you get a view of something, whatever it is. And that depends on the context of your belief systems as well. Sometimes, some spiritual approaches believe that if you have this kind of experience, that's not a good experience. Or that kind of experience may be okay, but not that kind and not that kind. It shows us our youthfulness, our fear about not understanding something or not knowing something. In that dialogue, we are protecting ourselves. If you have experiences of that kind, of any kind related to, let's say, another state from your perspective, see them as an entry of something where you can actually notice there's something more than you. And the way you think and the way you believe. Yes, even the last part. Something beyond what we can anticipate as an individual here on these planes, making sense of something that promotes ourselves. This is very difficult for all of us. It's very interesting. Add this feature, please. You begin to become aware more. Here's the dilemma. The awareness that begins to touch you is that an awareness of yourself and how you function, your behavior, the hidden stuff, your purposes and what you do. And you're called upon to recognize and understand that this is your normal internal engagement with life for the purpose of helping you not to feel less than or vulnerable. And you have a construction that relates to that. And it's often related directly to the material world. Or a version of how things should be if they were truly spiritual or truly this or that. This is not an easy thing to take in, because as an individual growing, you see these things about yourself. How can you cultivate a non-judgmental way of looking at that? That's a question that is really difficult. First of all, if you attempt to do that, you have to be okay with not being perfect and recognize not everything you say or do is going to be always appropriate. Yeah, you make mistakes as a human being. As a defender of the me, you make less of them, less than somebody else. And that is difficult. Yeah, very difficult. Because if you need to be like that, then your need will always be to defend you. Just about in every manner. That's not for others to know. That's for you to know. So that you can slow you down. Because if awareness comes in really strong, and higher state can do that, but it doesn't want to hurt you. It loves you. So it helps you to see you as you see you. That means you'll be frustrated with how you see you, unless you blank it out and only see others as not being able because they don't fulfill the package of cellulose that you've wrapped yourself in. You think that perfection is there, and it really isn't. Learning how to be able to learn and understand that we cannot handle tremendous levels of flow until we allow ourselves to learn how to be okay with ourselves. Not as we are packaged, but as we are in reality. That causes another problem, of course. The problem is that we're well defended and we know how to defend ourselves. But we also know how to defend against being outed as just being a normal person. And that's what we are. The only person who outs you is you. So here's the thing about outing. Higher state looks at that with such compassion and loving that it would soften. If you can allow yourself to soften your defensive pattern against yourself as you grow, it would soften you more, your defensive construct more. But you may not want to soften it because you have something to live up to. Being harsh with other folk. You begin to recognize that you are harsh with yourself. Not know it. Not realize it. So once again, that flow comes in to help you to see it so that you can begin to gentle you down. You don't have to be perfect to be able to grow. It's not about that. It's more about getting to the point where you can understand the dilemmas in you and the good things in you too. So that you're kind of a middle ground thing there. Then there's the other part that starts to happen, where you start to know the difference between a flow coming into you for a higher, or a purpose that relates to others as well as you, and you being the perpetrator of that flow. And that, I think, is an amazing gift. And it's open to everybody. But our cultural background doesn't like that one too much. And I can't really say that I blame it. Because in our world, when we're talking about a me in brackets, the personality construct, it's the favored of our culture. And I think in growth as well, even though that higher state doesn't underline your name and put it in lights, I have to try and understand a deeper purpose for engaging with the higher state, for a purpose that is not related to the elevation of the personality, but the function of the personality in a different way for a different purpose. And in the meantime, you just live life as a normal person. Yeah, but nobody's going to know that you're extra special if you do that. It's our dilemma. Once again, the idealism starts coming forward. And we learn a little bit of that as we go along. We learn that it's not only about us. It never was. But, I mean, that's something that's been talked about before in the past. But it's difficult. Well, here we live in the 21st century. We know it's our personality that needs to be measured up and lifted up and be important. So what we end up want to be, we want to be the same as we were before, but more. And we want to be in charge. And no doubt about it, that should be the way it is. Because the nature of our engagement with life is that way. And if we don't have that, we're considered totally unable in our existence. Unworthy, unrelevant, not relevant, I should say. So it's difficult for us to allow ourselves to think of ourselves as not necessarily being as valuable as we believe we are, yet we are valuable all the time, however we are. In relationship, too, being a form through which another state can operate through and into for a purpose that relates to helping others in their particular inner growth as well. And that kind of thing, sometimes you can be of great help to people, but no one's ever going to know it. And that's related to higher states. Our way of seeing it is should be of great help to people and underline it, and we should be recognized as that great helper. And it's a difficult part of engaging with higher states. And yes, even if you have 100 experiences that relate to higher states, it's still showing you the difference between an engagement with those states and us as in a relationship with these lower level structures. It's really difficult for us to bite that kind of a bullet when we would rather shape it differently. And anyone who is more aware of themselves, and this is an old philosophical thing, who are you, why are you, what is it that you do, why are you doing it that way? Philosophy's been talking about this for way back before the Greeks. trying to understand our relationship here on these planes. And there are many renderings. We're just going through a phase of the importance of the personality and on an individual basis based on materials that we carry with us and we engage with. Spirituality is not quite the same, but it is interesting because our behavior and our engagement with life sometimes is focused on that same thing. What you cart with you in your experiences makes you a superior person. No, it's not that. Makes you a person that begins to realize that there are states beyond this one or these. And this is a very important thing for us to remember. However, we will remember it how we believe it needs to be remembered. That is the nature of the personality construct. And we will adapt spiritual development or material development to suit that particular statement, as long as we happen to be in the sentence. And that is part of what we have to learn about in these short lifetimes that we have. And they are short. Fortunately for us, we don't realize how short they are because we're so context related. Every single day of our life, we are focused on that day. And if you keep an agenda, you're focused on some other days that are coming forward. Or if you want to beat yourself up long enough, you get yourself into a version of beating up you because you did a whole bunch of stuff that was really bad in those days. This is the nature, all of that is the nature of us here on this planet. You can call that young, or you can call that respectful, or you can call it whatever you want. But our focus, when it's on ourselves, is not on relating to, preparing for higher state engagement on a consistent 24-hour basis. Although we do the best we possibly can. So that's what we have to remember. It's a key. It enables us to go forward because we know we're not perfect at it. Unless you believe you are. Now you're in a little bit of it. What I call it difficulty, or what I call it in love with yourself. I prefer the latter. You've learned how to love yourself in a particular manner, and you refuse to do it any other way. But that is a love rendering that enables you to hold yourself in a position called self-validation. Some of that is fine. But we're looking at trying to be okay every day, just seeing stuff. See what you do. There's an old trick, and this is not my trick, it's an old trick. Watch what you react to. And when you overreact, you would rather be the person being the god of that time zone. And you don't have any perfect answers, and either does anybody else. That's a real hard one to swallow. Because in the moment, you have the perfect answer. Because that makes you a swollen we, or you, or me. It's the nature of how we function here. Just see it, understand it, laugh a little bit and say, holy smokes, do we ever do that a lot? Every day. I hope that answers the question a little bit. It's not perfect, but it's an answer. And I thank you very much for the question. The second question, okay. This is from Natalie Taylor. And what does it mean to grow? That growth happens in cycles? Well, let's follow on with what we've been talking about and realize that every increase in awareness that you have in relationship to being able to intone a recognition or perceive something internally, every time we see that, we go through cycles of protecting it, how we function. We often do that by expression external. We get a little bit upset and we take it out on other people. It's the nature of this kind of thing, because in doing that, you are protecting yourself. This is natural. Until you begin to be familiar with some of that stuff, and then suddenly energy can come in softer just to boost your awareness a little bit more so that you get to see and understand something a little different. It's not to make you feel bad. It's to help you to be able to handle subtler energy for the purpose of helping others and softening down your version of you. Really another way of saying self-importance, I guess. But we all have these traits because they're at the core of our species. That story that I told you about, all of those gurus, all three of them had aspects of the species in them. Aspects of the observers in them. Because the guru that we were with, or we were with two of them actually, because they didn't join in the fight, didn't mean they were any better than anybody else. It means those things are in us as human beings. In moments, some moments you can't see them. Too busy defending. Which you know has to be true because you're the one who's thinking it. So many opinions, so many options. It's true. Just see it as a reality. Don't have to beat yourself up for it. You're part of the species. And that's at the core of how this species functions. Do a little bit. So a little bit more can be handled by you. That's all. It's a cycle. And as you grow, you'll understand more. Why? Because your perception gets a little stronger. Doesn't mean you're going to be perfect with it. This kind of idealism isn't real. Doesn't work that way. Just something to think about. What determines them? I think we talked about that. And can we interfere with them as maybe we should do with our personality cycles? This is all personality cycles. Personality is a functioning form. It's physical, emotional, mental. It's energetic in nature. There's a kind of physicality to those forms, even though we can't see them. They're physical at another level. They're emotional at another level. They're mental at another level. And our core focus in our life is our bodies, brain, nervous system, how we function, how we respond, how we engage, how we think. Recognize that that's how most folks are. Oh, they may not exactly come up with the same view, but they will reach it based on the same principle. Their focus is based on how they have learned how to function. We live in a timeline right now, especially in the last 15, 20 years, where our cultivated personality appears to be given a tremendous amount of importance. Everybody on the street has an opinion about everything, and they seek out others to agree with them. It's always been that way, but not as generalized. Or perhaps it has, and we haven't noticed. I think I go for the latter. We're just seeing it a little bit more. We're not understanding it, not necessarily agreeing with it, because we're too busy making up our own opinions half the time. See that you do that, and then start laughing, even about the serious things. It'll help you to broaden out your relationship with having a different way of seeing things. You can add stuff to things, see whether they make sense or not. It's hard to do that because we get into habitual responses, and they get pretty stiff. Yes, we all do. That's the point. Here's another one. What can help you to actually mean it when you say, not my will, but the highest will be done? That's up to you. You've got to figure that one out. Try and find that little sincere space inside. When you say those words, the first time you say them, you don't want to say them again. Because it may not be exactly how you think things should be. Now that should help you to start thinking. Okay, what is that about anyway? Then you start thinking about higher will versus your will, whatever that might mean. This is not so easy to deal with. You need a sense of humor in this one. You also need to try not to put yourself down in this one. That's a scary sentence to think about. Change the words around. As St. Augustine said very clearly, when he was asked about whether he wanted to be spiritual, he said, "Yes, I really do, but not yet." He was too young yet. You find that. Go read about it. That's reality. He became a saint, also a pope, but he was a human being, and guess what? He knew it. Just get to know you. Not to beat you up, but to say, at least you get to know you. And be respectful and kind to you as well, and to others. And I wish you well. Thank you so much for the questions. We were a little dry. and really appreciate them. And they're often difficult to deal with, but really worthwhile, always. Please take care. We're now going to meditate, and Marlene will make some adjustments.
Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Mamba Lalita Devi Uma Parvati Shive Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Mamba Lalita Devi Ma Bhavani Ambike Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Mamba Lalita Devi Annapurna Lakshmi Ma Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Mamba Lalita Devi Kamala Katyayani Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Mamba Lalita Devi Tvam Brahmani Gayatri Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Mamba Lalita Devi त्वं त्रिपुरसुन्दरी नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः माता भुवनेश्वरी नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः त्वं राजा राजेश्वरी नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः भगवती भार्गवी नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः माया विश्वमोहिनी नमः Shanti. namo namaha. Mahātishaya Saundarya Lavanyaye namo namaha. Mahātishaya Saundarya Lavanyaye namo namaha. Om Shashankashekara Pranavallabhaye namo namaha. Om Shashankashekara Pranavallabhaye namo namaha. Om Sada Panchadashatmekya Swarupaye namo namaha. Sada Panchadashatmekya Swarupaye namo namaha. Om Vajramanikya Kataka Kiritaye namo namaha. Vajramanikya Kataka Kiritaye namo namaha. Om Kasturi Tilakola Sanitilaye namo namaha. Kasturi Tilakola Sanitilaye namo namaha. Om Hasmarekhankitala Sanvastakaye namo namaha. Hasmarekhankitala Sanvastakaye namo namaha. Om Ekachampuruhadhalalochanaye namo namaha. Om Sharachampeya Pushpabhanasikaye namo namaha. Sharachampeya Pushpabhanasikaye namo namaha. Om Lasatkanchana Tatanka-yugalaye namo namaha. Lasatkanchana Tatanka-yugalaye namo namaha. Om Manidarpana Sankashakapolaye namo namaha. Manidarpana Sankashakapolaye एकाटपात्रसाम्राज्यदायिकाये नमो नमः एकाटपात्रसाम्राज्यदायिकाये नमो नमः सनकारि समाराध्य पारुकाये नमो नमः सनकारि समाराध्य पारुकाये नमो नमः देवर्षिभिस्तूयमानविभवाये नमो नमः पूजिताये नमो नमः मध्ये भवत्रषट्वर्गवत्सलाये नमो नमः मध्ये भवत्रषट्वर्गवत्सलाये नमो नमः चक्रराजमहायन्त्रमध्यवर्तिन्ये नमो नमः चक्रराजमहायन्त्रमध्यवर्तिन्ये नमो नमः चिराग्निकुण्डसम्मोढसुदेहाये नमो नमः चिराग्निकुण्डसम्मोढसुदेहाये Samadhyasthaye Namo Namaha. Sushuptinam Sakshi Bhutye Namo Namaha. Jagrat Swapna Sushuptinam Sakshi Bhutye Namo Namaha. Om Mahapapapapanam Vinashinye Namo Namaha. Bhiti Bhanjanaye Namo Namaha. Bhiti Mahabhiti Bhanjanaye Namo Namaha. Om Samasta Devatanuja Prerakaye Namo Namaha. Namaha. सृष्टिस्थितितिरोधानसङ्कल्पायै नमो नमः। सृष्टिस्थितितिरोधानसङ्कल्पायै नमो नमः। श्री षोडशाक्षरी मन्त्रमध्यमायै नमो नमः। दिव्यमूर्त्यै नमो नमः। भक्तहंसपरिमुख्यवियोगायै नमो नमः। मातृमण्डलसंयुक्तललितायै नमो नमः। नन्ददैत्यमहासत्त्वनाशनायै नमो नमः। नन्ददैत्यमहासत्त्वनाशनायै नमो नमः। क्रूरभण्डशिरश्छेदनिपुणायै नमो नमः। सुराधीशसुखदायै नमो नमः। चण्डमुण्डनिशुम्भादिखण्डनायै नमो नमः। शिक्षणायै नमो नमः। महिषासुरदुर्वीर्यनिग्रहायै नमो नमः। अप्रकेशमहोत्साहकारणायै नमो नमः। Sakshat Shri Dakshinamurti Manobhyaye Namo Namaha. Sakshat Shri Dakshinamurti Manobhyaye Namo Namaha. Om Haya Vedhagra Sambhujya Mahimaye Namo Namaha. Prajapati Sutta Veshadhyaye Namo Namaha. Daksha Prajapati Sutta Veshadhyaye Namo Namaha. Om Sumabhane Shukodanda Manditaye Namo Namaha.
Now we'll just do the balancing and grounding. And good night, everybody.